I'm here with Brianna Ruth on Instagram. She just wants to be called Bre. Bre, welcome to the YouTube channel. We are in an area that is killing it. I promise you, this is a house that I could have bought, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago for like $400,000. She just bought it SubTo hybrid for like $750,000, right?
Just shy of that, 740.
Crazy. So 740, crazy story. She actually tried to buy this property in 2001. She's gonna tell us how she lost that deal, how it came back into her lap, and more importantly, the question I'm so curious about, the previous owner decided to sell it to Bre because they were failing at Airbnb. She is now taking it over, and guess what exit strategy she's using? Airbnb. I want to know, how the hell did you find this deal?
Back in 2021, January, I had an offer on this house. Previous seller and I were like $5,000 off, and they were not budging. I was not budging, and another property actually had a price reduction.
What's the mindset of not budging on $5,000? Like, why would you not have just come up 5,000 bucks?
You know, it needed a lot of work.
Okay.
And I had a PML that was helping fund the deal as well at the time. And sometimes those things just don't work for better reasons. And
it's like, it was in your spreadsheet. I'm not budging another $5,000. I think also there's a worry that if you do come up $5,000, then the seller plays another game with you and tries to bump you up again. So it's almost like, no, I know you're gonna play games with me. I'm not gonna come up on the 5,000. It's not that the 5,000 would have made or broken the deal.
Yeah.
I would also argue that even though you paid more money years later, you got a better deal because you didn't have to use a bank. But it sounds like you just didn't want to budge anymore.
If a seller doesn't want to work with you on $5,000, I mean, what are they going to work on, like inspections? Again, another property reduced their price, which was like $40,000 less than this one. I was like, done. We're going to go to that one instead. And so ended up not closing on this, but closing on a different one. It's a very successful Airbnb, literally on the other side of Scottsdale. Fast forward to today. And how I got this property, which I found from a unicorn realtor.
It's the same house. I don't know if you picked up on that. She put an offer on this in 2021. It didn't go through because the seller was being a butthead over $5,000. The seller would probably argue she was being a butthead over $5,000. And the deal comes back on your plate. The seller had already sold it by this time.
Yes.
A new seller now took it over, did an Airbnb, and now they're relisting the property again.
Yeah, they did some really good updates to it. Kept an eye on it, saw an Airbnb previously. I had a unicorn realtor, reach out to me. This property's for sale. Let me go try to put an offer in. And right before I was putting an offer in, it actually went under contract with someone else. Yeah, so I talked to the listing agent, just kind of
like having like a cute girl you have a crush on, and every time you go to ask her out on a date, she goes and like gets engaged to somebody else, and you got to just sit there and twiddle your thumbs for a year until they break up, and then you can jump back in. This was like the second time you almost had this deal.
Yeah.
And they go under contract with somebody else. Now, you obviously knew the property was the same property from 2001. Were you like, oh my gosh, this freaking house, screw this house? Or were you like, I'm gonna buy this house?
Yeah, I mean, they were willing to do a creative deal. So the seller or the owner was willing to work with whoever brought them a good offer. So I was like, okay, bingo, let's just try it out. I already know my numbers. I already know how well my other properties does. This one is actually in Scottsdale, where the other one is in Tempe. So it's just like, it's just gonna be better.
How long did you have to wait for the other contract to fall apart?
Yeah, so it was only like about 3 weeks. I did build a good relationship with that listing agent because it was on the MLS, but it wasn't active on the MLS, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They took it off.
The agent comes to you, Bre, and the agent says, hey, I've got this seller, YouTube, stay here. Booking is down in the description. Okay, we want to book this place out. The agent reaches out to you, you submit an offer, for whatever reason, they go with the other offer. Instead of you being pissed off at the agent and going, oh my gosh, how dare you, you brought this thing to me, I thought we were gonna do a deal. You go, no problem, do you got anything else? And you actually said, that doesn't bother me, perfectly cool, things happen, let's go work on other opportunities, and you showed the agent that you actually cared about doing long-term business. Then when the deal did fall apart, the agent had you top of mind.
Yeah, the buyer ended up ghosting.
Sounds like a wholesaler, straight up.
I believe so. I listed him 3 offers, and then we negotiated what would be great for both of us, what would benefit both of us, and still make it cash flowing and everything. And after negotiating those terms, we were under contract.
Okay, so
17 days later.
Your purchase price is $740. and the seller wanted 50 grand. So you bring in private money for this.
Yep.
That 50 grand went to the seller. The seller paid his own agent on that deal. So you didn't have to pay any agent fees out of your pocket.
Correct.
Did your 50 grand cover closing costs, or did you have to bring in money for that as well?
I did bring in a little extra for closing costs, yes.
Okay, cool. Now, this was a failing Airbnb.
Was.
How the heck does somebody take like, I look at an Airbnb and go, oh, it's failing. I don't want to be anywhere around that. If that must be location. It must be like the city doesn't like Airbnbs. That's my first thought. You don't think that way.
Correct.
You're like, this guy failed because why? And why does Bre think that she can take this failure and actually make it successful?
Yeah, so short-term rentals is my expertise, I like to say. Been doing them for a really long time, managing other people's properties, so I know what works, what doesn't work, especially in the Scottsdale area. So when I saw that, I instantly said, poor design, poor management. So I was like, you know what, this is a win-win deal. I'm just benefiting off of someone's loss.
This is so funny because I get comments in my Instagram or my YouTube that people say, why would you buy a failing business? Why would you buy a failing this? Why would you buy a failing that? I'm like, it's because the person that I'm buying it from had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, you have the vision.
You have the vision, you have the expertise, you're managing are you still managing other people's Airbnbs?
I am still managing other people's Airbnbs.
That sounds like a no to me, guys. I don't know about you.
My goal is to build up my own portfolio instead of managing other people's portfolios.
Why do you think you can do it?
Because if boys can do it, I can do it too.
Amazing. So you want to own more properties, you want to do less management, so you're starting to make that transition, which is great. How do you know this property is going to make money?
The location, amazing location.
I don't think there's a better one in the valley.
I am actually targeting this property to women, bachelorettes, and Scottsdale is actually the #1 spot for bachelor and bachelorette parties.
This neighborhood could not be a better location. You've got downtown Scottsdale where everybody likes to go get drunk.
Super close to the airport.
ASU's right here.
Minutes, yeah.
In and out, right by here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
So have you already started seeing interest in the bookings, or do you not have it live yet?
I do have some bookings already, and I also use my social media platform. I have a Instagram account for my properties, so I do post in there and promote it. Basically, I'm showing every day. I'm trying to post something of like what I'm doing.
Anticipation. Amazing. So what do you think this will generate on a yearly basis?
This will definitely make over $100,000 a year.
$100,000 after all expenses, everything. What do you think you'll take home? 20, 30 grand a year?
At least 40,000.
Dang. So
Yeah,
this one
at least.
should make 40 grand. How much does your other Scottsdale one make?
Basically about the same.
So you take home on that about 40 grand a year. Mm-hmm. You have any other properties here?
I actually do have a condo that I'm arbitraging. Whoa. But I'm actually talking to the seller to possibly buy that from him.
Oh, sweet. And what are you doing with that one? You're doing that as a regular rental, or are you doing that? Okay.
It's a 2-bed, 2-bath condo, great for traveling nurses. It is right across the Cubs Stadium. So like March, absolutely amazing, does like $5,000 there.
What's interesting about it is that I know Airbnb has taken a little bit of a hit because people are spending less money on traveling.
Yeah.
However, when you buy in the perfect locations, you cannot lose here.
You can.
How? Well,
Poor management, poor design. You have to start thinking outside the box. You gotta give your guests an experience or something that's gonna set you above the other competition.
or better than a hotel.
A lot of people are flocking here because they have seen some great residual income coming in. But the thing is, you can't just put a basic house when another house listing for the same price a night has a pool and a hot tub or
Video
even
games.
heated pool. Yep, arcade games.
Barbecue in the backyard.
Everything, like
Stripper
cool
pole in the
murals
living
to take
room.
pictures,
All the
swings.
things. As I wrap up, I now am thinking, like, what are the things that you're like, we need these things in the property?
That's a great question.
Is it colors
Yeah.
like pink? Is it other gadgets and activities? What do girls want for a house like this?
One thing that I've seen is vanities. So I have like a wall of vanities so they can get ready.
I've never looked at an Airbnb one time and been like, yo, look at all these mirrors. We could be like getting ready, dude. Like, let's get ready. You know what I'm saying? Girls, that's a thing.
Wallpaper, murals, some opportunity to get cool like photos, like a little photo shoot for the girls. Because let's be honest, Instagram worthy. And that's good marketing too. Like I've had so many people post about my property because of their mural or whatever. They'll tag my Instagram and then I'll get
Wow.
more bookings from that.
That is interesting. I've been hearing more and more posts saying, how do I get people off of Airbnb and directly book with me by creating a brand around what you're doing? What is your brand?
My brand, it's called the Dream House. This one is called the Desert Ranch Dream House, which will be more of like a Western desert vibe, where the other one is just the Desert Dream House, and that is kind of like Barbie meets Instagram. My goal is to have these properties all over the US. Disney, dream house. Austin, dream house. I would love a property in Colorado and just name something cute with that.
I love
and
it.
just keep
I love
going
it.
with that.
Here's what I would suggest you guys do. If you guys have private money, this is a girl you should probably hit up. If you have deals, this is probably a girl you should hit up. She understands creative finance. She's part of our community. She's unbelievable. If you have questions about Airbnb, she might be somebody you could actually talk to, DM, and we'll put your Instagram and everything down in the description below. Guys, she's amazing. Go give her some love on her Instagram. We'll see you in another video.